10 actions that agonize those who despise you. Stoicism. He who angers you controls you. This timeless quote captures a deep truth that many of us overlook. Have you ever felt the sting of someone's disdain? That frustrating feeling of being dismissed, underestimated, or even hated? What if I told you there are powerful, subtle ways to flip the script? Not with revenge or bitterness, but through thoughtful actions that leave them perplexed while you thrive. In this video, we'll dive into 10 Stoic-inspired actions that not only leave those who despise you agonized, but also boost your self-esteem and strengthen your personal power. These are not your typical responses. They may even seem surprising at first. But they're all rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism and personal development, designed to turn negativity into fuel for your growth. Stick around to learn how to transform the way you deal with those who seek to undermine you. And the best part? These strategies are easy to apply and can start working for you today. If you're ready to take control of your life, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Let's get started. Topic 1. Self-sufficiency and freedom. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live a life completely on your terms? To be free from the opinions, expectations, and judgments of others? That is the essence of self-sufficiency, a core Stoic value. We're going to explore how cultivating self-sufficiency not only elevates your personal power, but also silently agonizes those who seek to control or despise you. Self-sufficiency isn't just about being financially independent or physically strong, it's about being the master of your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. When you develop the ability to govern yourself, free from the need for external validation, you gain a freedom that is deeply unsettling for those who try to manipulate or control you. Consider this. When your happiness, success, and self-worth are no longer dependent on the opinions of others, how much power does anyone have over you? The answer is none. By living according to your own values and principles, you remove the power of external forces to disrupt your inner peace. This is why Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not a master of himself." In modern life, self-sufficiency has become somewhat of a lost art. We live in a time where external validation is sought through social media, career advancement, or material possessions. Men, in particular, often feel pressured to meet societal standards of success, wealth, or status. But Stoicism teaches that true freedom and power come from within, by aligning your actions with your personal values and principles, rather than chasing external markers of success. Imagine the impact you could make on your own life if you stopped worrying about what others thought of you, and instead focused on what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, and your peace of mind. The ability to chart your own path and make decisions independent of societal pressures is one of the most liberating actions you can take. When you prioritize your values and follow your internal compass, those who seek to undermine you will find themselves helpless. Their attempts to sway your direction become futile because, in reality, they have no control over the choices you make. In Stoic philosophy, this is closely related to the concept of arete, excellence of character. By striving to be excellent in the way you conduct yourself, regardless of external circumstances, you become impervious to outside influence. The beauty of self-sufficiency is that it doesn't require you to shut others out or isolate yourself. Instead, it involves choosing your connections wisely and ensuring that your relationships are built on mutual respect, not dependency. This is particularly important for men navigating modern relationships, whether personal or professional. As Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not the events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." When you no longer judge your worth based on someone else's opinion, you stand tall, and the people who try to bring you down will find themselves frustrated by their inability to shake your resolve. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoic self-sufficiency is the ability to say no when necessary. In today's world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the demands of others, whether it's at work, at home, or socially. We are constantly bombarded by the need to meet expectations or fulfill obligations that may not align with our own values. But being self-sufficient means having the strength and clarity to refuse things that don't add value to your life. This doesn't mean rejecting every request or avoiding responsibility, but it does mean being selective with where you invest your energy. By saying no to things that don't serve your purpose, you say yes to yourself and your growth. This is a lesson that not only helps you maintain balance, but also adds to your sense of freedom. As Seneca wisely said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Topic 2. Emotional balance and the art of not reacting. When someone insults you, belittles you, or seeks to provoke a reaction, the temptation to respond in kind can feel overwhelming. But the truth is, reacting impulsively to negativity only empowers the person who seeks to upset you. Stoicism teaches us that true emotional strength lies in mastering the art of not reacting. When you can control your responses, you protect your peace, and nothing frustrates those who despise you more than seeing you remain calm and unbothered by their attempts to disturb you. Imagine you're in a heated argument, at work or home, and the other person is clearly trying to get under your skin. If you lash out, you're doing exactly what they want. But if you stay composed, you maintain your power. This isn't about being passive or weak, but about having the wisdom to recognize when a reaction serves no purpose other than giving your adversary the satisfaction of seeing you rattled. The beauty of emotional balance is that it requires practice, not perfection. In everyday life, you're constantly faced with situations that test your patience and emotional resilience. Whether it's a rude driver cutting you off in traffic, a coworker making snide comments, or even a close friend who disappoints you, every interaction provides an opportunity to practice Stoic principles. Rather than react immediately and risk saying or doing something you'll regret, take a deep breath and remind yourself that their behavior does not have to dictate yours. This control is the essence of emotional balance, and it's one of the most powerful tools you can have in your personal arsenal. But how do you begin to master it? One method is to pause before reacting, what some call the Stoic pause. It's as simple as taking a moment to assess the situation, evaluate whether it's worth your energy, and then decide on the most rational response. This pause doesn't take long but can make a world of difference in how you handle challenges. It buys you time to process your emotions and respond in a way that aligns with your values, rather than giving in to the moment's heat. There's a story that resonates with this idea of emotional balance and the art of not reacting. Picture this. A successful business leader is at a company meeting, and his rivals are waiting for him to lose his temper during a heated debate. Everyone's on edge, expecting him to blow up, but instead, he listens quietly, nods, and calmly responds with reasoned points. His calm demeanor not only diffuses the tension but also leaves his opponents frustrated. They were looking for a fight, but he gave them none. His ability to stay calm under pressure turned the tables, making him appear stronger and more in control. The key takeaway here is that emotional balance isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about learning when and how to express them constructively. This is what Stoicism teaches us. Our emotions are natural, but they don't have to control us. You have the power to choose your response, and in doing so, you take back the control others may try to steal from you. Now think about how often in your own life you've reacted in ways that later made you feel regret or guilt. Perhaps it was a heated argument with a family member or a harsh email sent to a colleague. How might those situations have been different if you had taken a moment to pause and assess before reacting? Stoicism offers the idea that when you don't react emotionally, you create a sense of space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your freedom, the freedom to choose how to act rather than simply reacting on autopilot. This concept is especially relevant in today's fast-paced, high-stress world, where we're constantly bombarded with emails, messages, and social media interactions. How many times have you been tempted to reply to a negative comment online or snap back at someone in a heated exchange? It's easy to let emotions take over, but the true strength lies in maintaining composure and responding thoughtfully. The art of not reacting doesn't mean being emotionless, it means being emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence allows you to recognize your feelings without letting them dictate your actions. You can be angry without yelling, disappointed without withdrawing, or hurt without lashing out. This emotional control is what Stoicism aims to cultivate in each of us. And when you're able to practice this level of emotional balance, it becomes evident to those around you that you are not easily swayed. This creates an aura of strength and stability, which can be incredibly frustrating to those who wish to unsettle you. It's a form of silent power that can't be easily shaken. Ask yourself this: how different would your life be if you could approach every challenging situation with emotional balance? What if, instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, you could calmly assess, respond with clarity, and move on without carrying the emotional baggage of regret or anger? This is what Stoicism offers, a way to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. The next time someone tries to provoke you, whether it's a snide remark from a colleague or an unfair critique from a friend, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? More often than not, the answer will be no. By choosing not to react, you not only protect your emotional well-being, but also leave those who despise you feeling powerless, because nothing agitates a provocateur more than seeing their attempts to upset you fail. Topic 3. The power of strategic silence. There's an old saying, silence is golden. This phrase has been passed down through generations, yet its power is often underestimated in today's noisy world. In Stoicism, silence isn't just the absence of speech. It's a powerful tool for regaining control, preserving inner peace, and turning the tables on those who seek to disturb or undermine you. Strategic silence, when practiced thoughtfully, can agonize those who despise you in ways they never expected. Why? Because silence removes their ability to influence or provoke a reaction from you, leaving them confused, frustrated, and powerless. Think about this. How many times has someone said something with the clear intention of getting under your skin? Maybe it was a passive-aggressive comment, a hurtful remark, or a challenge meant to test your patience. Your natural instinct might have been to react, maybe even to retaliate. But here's the truth. Every time you react, you give away your power. You let them know they've succeeded in affecting you, and in doing so, you've handed them control of your emotions. Stoic philosophy teaches us that silence in those moments is far more powerful than any words could ever be. When you respond with silence, you are showing that you are in control of your emotions, not them. The power of strategic silence lies in the fact that it confounds your opponent. They expect a reaction, they want to fight, they crave validation through your emotional outburst. But when you withhold that reaction, you are forcing them to sit with their own discomfort. They are left wondering why their words didn't have the desired effect. Strategic silence, in this sense, is a form of quiet strength that not only protects your peace, but also causes those who despise you to reflect on their own behavior. In modern life, where confrontation can happen in an instant, whether online, at work, or even in personal relationships, the ability to use silence effectively has never been more important. We live in an age where people feel the need to respond immediately, to always have the last word, and to let their emotions guide their actions. But ask yourself, does reacting impulsively to every provocation really help you in the long run? Or does it just feed into the cycle of negativity, keeping you locked in unnecessary conflict? Think of it this way. Silence is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of mastery over oneself. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This means that when someone seeks to harm or belittle you, the greatest power you can wield is to rise above their pettiness, and often the best way to do that is through silence. Silence communicates that you are not easily swayed by others, that you are unbothered by attempts to provoke you. It tells the other person, without saying a word, that their actions and opinions hold no power over you. This can be incredibly frustrating for those who thrive on drama or seek to manipulate you. Over time, they will realize that their attempts to unsettle you are futile, and that realization is what ultimately agonizes them. Strategic silence also gives you time to think, reflect, and plan your next move. In the heat of the moment, emotions run high, and it can be easy to say something you might regret later. But when you choose silence, you buy yourself time to assess the situation calmly. Is this battle even worth fighting? Is there a more effective way to handle this? What will benefit you most in the long run? These are the kinds of questions you can ask yourself when you give yourself the gift of silence. By not reacting immediately, you are not only protecting your inner peace, but also allowing yourself the clarity to act in a way that aligns with your long-term goals. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. There's a great story that illustrates the power of strategic silence. It's said that Winston Churchill, a man known for his sharp wit and fiery speeches, once found himself in a heated exchange with a political rival. The other man was trying to provoke him, hurling insults in hopes of riling Churchill up, but instead of responding, Churchill simply smiled and said nothing. The silence was deafening. Eventually, the rival, embarrassed by the lack of response, backed down. Churchill's silence had spoken louder than any words could have, leaving his opponent both confused and defeated. This story teaches us that sometimes silence can say everything that needs to be said. It communicates confidence, self-control, and emotional maturity, qualities that are sure to frustrate anyone looking to drag you down to their level. Now, let me ask you this. How many times in your own life have you reacted in ways that only made things worse? How many arguments could have been avoided? How much emotional energy could have been saved if you had simply chosen silence instead of speaking in the heat of the moment? Reflecting on those moments might give you a new perspective on the power of silence. It's not about being passive or letting others walk over you. It's about knowing when a response is truly necessary and when silence will serve you better. One of the most empowering aspects of strategic silence is that it shifts the focus back onto the person trying to provoke you. When you refuse to react, they are left to deal with their own insecurities, their own frustrations. In many cases, people lash out because they are unhappy with themselves, not because of anything you've done. By remaining silent, you allow them the space to confront their own behavior, and often, they end up realizing that the issue lies within them, not with you. At the end of the day, the lesson here is simple. Silence is a form of power. It allows you to maintain control over yourself and the situation, while leaving those who despise you in a state of confusion and frustration. It's a skill that takes practice, especially in a world that encourages instant reactions, but it's one that can greatly benefit you both personally and professionally. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? And remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing silence, you are choosing strength, control, and most importantly, peace. Topic 4. Focus on the essential. In today's fast-paced world with its constant stream of information, obligations, and material pursuits, it's easy to lose focus on what truly matters. Yet, Stoicism teaches that true power comes from simplicity, from stripping away the superfluous and focusing on the essential. This principle applies to every area of life, whether it's your career, relationships, or personal goals. By learning to focus on what is truly important, not only do you elevate yourself, but you also subtly frustrate those who would seek to derail you. They expect you to get caught up in the noise, but by honing your attention on the essentials, you become unshakable. What does focusing on the essential really mean? It's about cutting out the unnecessary, both physically and mentally, and directing your energy toward actions that align with your values and long-term objectives. In a world that constantly demands more of our attention, more of our time, and more of our resources, this approach can feel counterintuitive. However, when you simplify and focus only on the tasks, relationships, and goals that truly matter to you, you free yourself from the burden of trying to please everyone or chase after things that don't serve your greater purpose. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, Seneca once said. These words ring especially true in modern life, where we are bombarded with countless distractions that keep us from focusing on what really counts. The more you practice focusing on the essential, the more control you gain over your time, your emotions, and ultimately, your life. In practical terms, focusing on the essential means taking a hard look at your day-to-day activities and determining which ones are truly necessary. Think about how much time we waste on trivial tasks, unnecessary meetings, or scrolling through social media. These distractions not only drain our productivity, but also prevent us from achieving our most meaningful goals. So, how can we begin to focus on the essential? The first step is to identify your core values and priorities. Ask yourself, what is most important to me? Is it my health, my family, my personal growth? Once you have clarity on these values, it becomes much easier to filter out the activities, relationships, and commitments that don't align with your true priorities. This practice of elimination is at the heart of Stoicism and is key to living a life of purpose and fulfillment. Now, let's consider how focusing on the essential affects our relationships. Many people find themselves tangled in social obligations or friendships that don't add value to their lives. Stoicism encourages us to be deliberate about who we allow into our inner circle. If a relationship doesn't serve your growth or align with your values, it may be time to reevaluate its place in your life. This isn't about being cold or dismissive. It's about preserving your mental and emotional well-being. Associate with people who are likely to improve you, said Seneca, and that advice is just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. By surrounding yourself with those who uplift and support your journey, you enhance your focus on what really matters. In the workplace, focusing on the essential is equally critical. Many of us are taught that being busy equates to being productive, but this is far from the truth. The most successful individuals don't waste their energy on tasks that don't move the needle. Instead, they zero in on the few things that have the most impact. This concept, often referred to as the 80-20 rule or Pareto principle, suggests that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. When you identify and focus on those high-impact tasks, you not only increase your productivity, but also free up time to invest in areas that truly matter, whether that's personal development, family, or simply rest. Those who despise you or wish to see you fail often hope that you will get lost in the noise, overwhelmed by trivial details. But when you maintain laser-like focus on the essential, you outmaneuver them by staying ahead and calm in the chaos. Another aspect of focusing on the essential is learning the power of saying no. For many people, especially those in leadership or caregiving roles, saying no can feel difficult, even impossible. Yet, if you say yes to everything, you dilute your energy and effectiveness. By focusing on the essential, you give yourself permission to say no to requests, tasks, and commitments that don't serve your higher goals. As Warren Buffett famously said, "The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything." Think about that for a moment. In a world where we are constantly pulled in 100 different directions, learning to say no is one of the most empowering tools you can develop. It enables you to protect your time and energy for the things that truly matter, and it sends a clear message to those around you that you value yourself and your priorities. Thank you for being with us throughout this video. We're glad to have you on this journey toward building inner strength and mastering your reactions. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What Stoic principle has helped you the most in dealing with difficult situations or people in your life? How have you applied it? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. If you're unsure how to start your comment, feel free to share a simple thought like, "One action that has helped me maintain my calm is," or, "I found the idea of letting success speak for itself particularly powerful because." We're excited to read your thoughts. Let's now move to the next topic. Topic 5. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is one of the most empowering actions you can take in life, not just to protect your peace, but to also send a clear message to those who may wish to test you. Boundaries are like invisible fences we place around our time, energy, and emotions. They communicate to others what we will and won't tolerate, and more importantly, they reinforce self-respect. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, "No person is free who is not a master of themselves." When you set boundaries, you take control of your life and protect yourself from being overwhelmed by the demands and expectations of others. People who dislike you, or even those who may envy or resent you, often look for ways to exploit your time and energy. Setting firm boundaries frustrates them because it shows that you are not easily manipulated and that you have a clear understanding of your worth. When we talk about boundaries, many people mistakenly think it's about shutting others out or being selfish, but that's far from the truth. Boundaries are actually about creating a safe space for healthy interactions. In your relationships, whether personal or professional, boundaries ensure that there is mutual respect. Without them, you may find yourself agreeing to things you don't want to do, saying yes when you mean no, and allowing others to take advantage of your kindness or availability. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something out of obligation, only to regret it later? The frustration of being pulled in directions you never intended to go comes from not having clear boundaries. Setting limits is not about rejecting responsibility, but about choosing where to invest your energy and ensuring that you're spending your time on things that truly align with your values. Let's take a modern example. In today's fast-paced work environment, many professionals find it difficult to say no to extra tasks or responsibilities, fearing that doing so may make them seem uncooperative or incapable. However, consistently taking on more than you can handle leads to burnout. Imagine a situation where your boss keeps adding extra tasks to your workload, expecting you to complete them without question. You've been taught to never say no, so you continue to accept more and more even though you're already overwhelmed. Over time, your productivity and well-being suffer. However, if you had set boundaries early on, perhaps saying something like, "I'd be happy to take on that project, but I need to finish my current work first," you would have created a healthier dynamic. Setting boundaries in this context is not about being difficult. It's about maintaining your energy so that you can be effective in what you do. Boundaries also extend to your personal relationships. Many of us have friends, family members, or acquaintances who expect constant access to our time and energy. They may even guilt us into doing things we don't want to do. The truth is, when you allow people to consistently overstep your boundaries, you start to feel resentment, which can damage relationships. Setting clear boundaries, on the other hand, is an act of kindness, not just to yourself but to the other person as well. It creates clarity in the relationship, allowing both parties to know what is expected and what is off limits. Consider this. Have you ever found yourself feeling overwhelmed because a friend or family member constantly asks for your help, but you can never bring yourself to say no? Maybe you feel that declining their request would hurt their feelings or make you seem selfish. However, when you repeatedly say yes at the expense of your own well-being, you create a cycle of exhaustion and frustration. Setting boundaries, kindly but firmly, can prevent this from happening. The Stoics believed that we are responsible for protecting our inner peace and well-being. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote speaks directly to the idea of boundaries. By taking control of how we allow others to treat us and by managing our time and energy, we gain the strength to live authentically and with purpose. Those who despise you, or who seek to control you in some way, will find it agonizing when you set clear limits. They expect you to bend to their will, But by setting boundaries, you demonstrate that you are not swayed by manipulation or guilt. You protect your inner peace, and that drives them mad because they can no longer intrude on your mental and emotional space. So, how do you begin to set these essential boundaries in your life? Start by identifying areas where you feel stretched too thin or where you've allowed others to take advantage of your time or goodwill. Once you've recognized these areas, you can begin to communicate your boundaries clearly. It's important to be direct but respectful. You might say something like, "I'm unable to commit to that right now," or, "I appreciate your offer, but I need time to focus on my own priorities." The key is to deliver your message in a way that leaves no room for misinterpretation, but without anger or hostility. It's about standing firm in your decision while still showing respect for the other person. Boundaries aren't just something you set once and forget about. They require regular reinforcement. Over time, some people may test your boundaries to see if they can push past them, especially those who don't have your best interests at heart. It's essential to remain consistent. The more you enforce your boundaries, the more people will come to respect them. And for those who are unwilling to respect your limits, it may be a sign that the relationship itself needs to be reevaluated. Ultimately, setting boundaries is about self-respect and self-care. By doing so, you not only protect yourself from unnecessary stress and emotional strain, but also cultivate relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding. Topic 6. The Stoic Power of Letting Words Roll Off. Words are powerful. They can uplift, inspire, or hurt. But what if you could choose to be unaffected by hurtful words? What if the insults and criticisms thrown at you by those who despise you simply rolled off like water on a duck's back? This idea of letting words roll off is central to Stoicism and can be incredibly liberating. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This teaches us that we can't control the words others speak, but we can control how we let those words affect us. By practicing the art of letting negative words roll off, you not only protect your peace of mind but also disarm those who aim to bring you down. When someone tries to provoke you with harsh words, the reaction they seek is anger, frustration, or hurt. But by remaining calm and unbothered, you take away their power and leave them confused, even frustrated by your resilience. In our everyday lives, we encounter situations where others may use words as weapons, whether it's at work, in social settings, or even within our own families. These verbal jabs can feel personal, especially when they come from people who know how to push your buttons. However, the Stoics believed that it's not the words themselves that harm us, but our interpretation of those words. Consider this. If someone were to insult you in a language you don't understand, would you be offended? Probably not, because the meaning of the words wouldn't register. Similarly, when you train yourself to detach from the meaning of hurtful words, you strip them of their power. By learning to let words roll off, you can navigate conflicts and difficult situations with grace, maintaining your emotional control and inner strength. Have you ever been in a situation where someone said something meant to provoke you, but instead of reacting, you stayed calm? How did that change the dynamics of the situation? One example that illustrates this principle well is from modern-day leadership. Picture a leader who faces constant criticism and scrutiny from both their colleagues and the public. People in leadership roles are often targets for negative comments and insults, whether deserved or not. A good leader doesn't react to every piece of negativity thrown their way. They understand that responding to each critique would not only be exhausting, but also counterproductive. By letting the unnecessary remarks roll off, they focus on what truly matters, leading effectively and making thoughtful decisions. Their silence in the face of criticism is often more powerful than any rebuttal. It demonstrates emotional control and, in turn, commands respect. This kind of leadership mirrors the Stoic approach to life, remaining steady amidst the storm of external opinions. But how do you develop this ability to let words roll off, especially when the comments feel deeply personal? The first step is recognizing that not every word deserves your attention. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." When someone insults you, it's natural to feel hurt, but the sting of those words only lasts as long as you allow it to. You have the power to decide whether or not those words hold meaning in your life. It's helpful to ask yourself, do I really value the opinion of the person making this remark? If the answer is no, then why let their words have any impact on you? People often criticize or insult others out of their own insecurity, jealousy, or unhappiness. By letting their words roll off, you protect yourself from becoming entangled in their negativity. There's also a practical aspect to this Stoic practice. In today's world, where social media and online platforms give everyone a voice, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the opinions and comments of others. You may post something or express an opinion, and suddenly, you're met with a barrage of negative comments or even insults. In these moments, it's tempting to respond, to defend yourself, or to fight back. But is that really the best use of your time and energy? The Stoic approach would be to simply let those words go. Don't engage with negativity. By doing so, you remain in control of the narrative. You show others that their attempts to bring you down won't work, and they'll eventually move on when they see you're unaffected. Have you ever found yourself engaging with someone's negative comment online, only to feel drained afterward? What if you had just ignored it? The ability to let words roll off is a skill that takes time to develop, but it's one that can profoundly change the way you interact with others. It gives you the freedom to focus on what really matters, instead of getting bogged down by meaningless critiques. The next time someone tries to insult you or speak negatively about you, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my emotional energy? More often than not, the answer will be no. Those who try to hurt you with words only succeed if you let them. As the Stoics teach, true power comes from controlling your reactions, not from controlling what others say. By letting words roll off, you remain strong, and nothing frustrates those who despise you more than seeing their attempts to unsettle you fall flat. The message is simple but profound. Words only have as much power as you give them. By choosing not to react, you protect your inner peace and maintain control over your emotional well-being. So the next time you find yourself facing criticism, ask yourself if those words are worth your time and energy. Letting them roll off doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to choose your battles wisely. As Epictetus reminds us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Stay open to learning, but also understand that not every word deserves your attention. Focus on what helps you grow and let the rest fall away. In doing so, you'll find yourself living with greater calm and clarity, unaffected by the noise around you. Topic 7. Let your success speak louder than words. There's a saying that fits perfectly with this next topic. Success is the best revenge. It's a principle deeply rooted in Stoicism, and one that can truly agonize those who despise or undermine you. When someone dislikes you or seeks to bring you down, their ultimate goal is to get a reaction out of you, to see you falter or fail. But instead of engaging in arguments, retaliating with insults, or letting their negativity consume you, the most powerful response is to simply focus on your own success. By doing so, you not only elevate yourself, but also leave your detractors frustrated and defeated, without ever needing to say a word. This is the essence of Stoic strength, letting your actions speak for you, rather than wasting energy on pointless conflict. As the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This quote captures the idea that showing your worth through action is far more impactful than trying to prove it through words. In a world that often encourages immediate reactions and values talk over substance, choosing to let your success speak for itself can be both refreshing and surprising to those around you. Many people who seek to criticize or antagonize you expect you to engage in verbal sparring, hoping to drag you down into the fray. But when you stay focused on your personal and professional growth instead, You turn their expectations upside down. Rather than wasting time and energy on them, you continue to push forward, accomplishing your goals and quietly thriving. It's in this thriving that the real message is delivered. No matter what others say or do, your focus remains unshaken. How often have you seen someone succeed after being underestimated or criticized? Their success becomes an undeniable answer to every insult or slight. The people who once doubted them are left with nothing to say, because results speak louder than any argument ever could. Let's look at a modern example that we all can relate to. The workplace. You might have a colleague or boss who seems intent on undermining you, constantly criticizing your work, or trying to make you look bad in front of others. It's tempting in those moments to defend yourself, to argue back, or even to confront them directly. But in doing so, you engage in a cycle of negativity that not only distracts you from your goals, but also gives them the satisfaction of knowing they've gotten under your skin. Instead, take a different approach. Redirect that energy into doing your work better than ever. Stay late if you need to, put extra effort into every project, and let the quality of your work speak for itself. When your results are undeniable, the person trying to bring you down will have no ground to stand on. Your success will not only silence their criticism, but also leave them feeling powerless, knowing they can't shake your resolve. This is the power of letting your success speak for itself. This concept is especially powerful in today's world, where everyone is connected through social media and other platforms that encourage constant commentary and comparison. It's easy to get caught up in what others are saying about you, whether it's online or in person. You might feel the urge to respond, to defend your reputation, or to correct misinformation. But what would happen if you simply focused on achieving your own goals instead? If you consistently improve yourself, achieve new milestones, and accomplish your personal and professional objectives, those who criticize you will be left without a leg to stand on. They can't argue with success. Have you ever seen someone try to diminish another person's accomplishments, only to be met with undeniable evidence of their success? It's a powerful moment, and it highlights how much stronger actions are compared to words. One of the key benefits of letting your success speak for itself is that it builds credibility and respect. When people see that you're focused on your own growth and that you're not easily rattled by external negativity, they begin to take notice. Your actions, not your words, become a testament to your character and abilities. This is especially important in leadership roles, where people are looking to you as an example. A leader who constantly reacts to criticism or feels the need to defend themselves will come across as insecure or unsure. But a leader who remains calm, focused, and lets their success speak for itself commands respect without needing to demand it. In a world that often values quick reactions and constant commentary, choosing silence and letting your achievements do the talking is a bold and powerful move. Consider this. What if instead of responding to every slight or criticism, you poured all that energy into something productive? Whether it's advancing your career, improving your skills, or working on personal development, the effort you invest in yourself will always pay off more than engaging in conflict with others. Over time, your progress becomes undeniable, and those who sought to criticize you will be left behind, watching as you move forward. They may continue to speak, but their words will hold no weight in the face of your achievements. As Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This is a reminder that the focus should always be on what you are becoming, not what others think or say about you. By keeping your focus on your growth, you leave little room for the noise of detractors. At the end of the day, the lesson is simple. Success is the most powerful response you can give to those who doubt or despise you. It doesn't require you to engage in confrontation, defend yourself, or prove anything through words. It's about staying focused, doing the work, and letting the results speak for themselves. When you do this, you protect your energy, maintain your peace, and frustrate those who seek to see you fail. In the words of the great Stoic Seneca, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By focusing on your own success and not on the opinions of others, you free yourself from the need for external validation and become truly rich in what matters, your own accomplishments and growth. So, the next time someone tries to bring you down with criticism or negativity, ask yourself, is this worth my time? Wouldn't it be better to channel that energy into something that moves me forward? Let your success speak louder than words, and watch as those who once sought to despise you are left in the wake of your achievements, unable to keep up. It's a powerful way to live, and one that ensures your focus remains on what truly matters: your growth, your success, and your peace. If you've made it this far, you're truly embracing the Stoic path to strength. Drop a comment saying, "I choose calm over chaos," to show you're committed to mastering these powerful actions. Stick around. The journey to inner peace and resilience is just beginning. Topic 8. How Stoic Calmness Disarms Aggressors. In a world where heated exchanges, aggressive behavior, and emotional reactions seem to dominate the landscape, the concept of remaining calm might seem counterintuitive. Yet, there is immense power in calmness, especially when facing aggression. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote encapsulates the Stoic approach to handling conflict: control over your own emotions rather than letting others dictate how you feel or react. When someone is trying to provoke or anger you, they expect an emotional response. They seek to disrupt your peace, to see you flustered or upset. But when you respond with calmness, it leaves them confused, powerless, and often frustrated. It's one of the most effective ways to disarm aggressors, simply because they don't know how to handle your composure. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control what others do, but we can always control how we respond. By choosing calmness in moments of conflict, you protect yourself from being pulled into unnecessary arguments or emotional upheavals. Let's consider a common scenario: a heated argument at work. Maybe a colleague is trying to blame you for something that wasn't your fault, or trying to make you look bad in front of others. Your natural instinct might be to defend yourself immediately, to fire back with your own points and to match their intensity. But what happens when, instead, you remain calm, listen, and respond thoughtfully when necessary? You immediately stand out as the more composed, rational person. The aggressor, in contrast, begins to look unreasonable. The shift in power is subtle, but undeniable. When you maintain your composure, you take control of the situation because you aren't allowing their emotions to influence yours. Remaining calm doesn't mean you're ignoring the problem or letting others walk all over you. It means that you're not letting your emotions drive your actions. There's strength in being able to take a step back, breathe, and consider the situation objectively. Think about how often you've regretted something you said or did in the heat of the moment. Stoic calmness allows you to avoid that regret by ensuring that every action and word is intentional, not impulsive. Seneca once said, "It is more civilized to make fun of life than to lament it." By staying calm, you can even diffuse tension with humor or understanding, showing that you are not controlled by the chaos around you. This approach is particularly powerful in personal relationships, where emotions often run high. Whether it's a disagreement with a partner, a misunderstanding with a friend, or a conflict with a family member, calmness can turn the tide. When emotions flare up, and the other person expects you to meet their anger with more anger, responding with calm creates space for a more productive conversation. It can be disarming for them because they don't expect it. In fact, your calm demeanor may even prompt them to reflect on their own behavior. Have you ever been in an argument where one person's calmness completely shifted the energy in the room? That's the power of Stoic calmness in action. It not only protects your peace, but can also inspire others to match your level-headedness. Another important aspect of Stoic calmness is that it allows you to focus on what truly matters. Often people engage in conflict over trivial things, letting their egos get in the way of rational thinking. By staying calm, you keep your eye on the bigger picture. You're not drawn into petty disputes or meaningless arguments because you understand that most things are not worth sacrificing your peace over. This is why Epictetus advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you embrace this mindset, you can let go of the need to always win or be right. Instead, you focus on maintaining your inner peace, which is far more valuable than any temporary victory in an argument. In today's fast-paced, high-stress world, where emotions are constantly being tested, the ability to remain calm is like having a superpower. It's not about being passive or indifferent. It's about consciously choosing not to react impulsively. Let's look at a modern example: social media. It's a platform where emotions often run wild, with people reacting to posts and comments without much thought. How many times have you seen a heated exchange online where one person is clearly trying to provoke the other, only to be met with calmness? The person who stays calm usually comes out looking more mature, more grounded, while the aggressor looks erratic. This is a clear example of how calmness can disarm even the most aggressive attacks, leaving the other person with nothing to push against. Stoic calmness is also closely tied to self-respect. By remaining calm in the face of aggression, you show others that you value yourself enough not to engage in every conflict. You don't allow others to dictate your emotional state, and that kind of self-control commands respect. People will notice that you are not easily shaken, that you don't give in to provocation. This can be especially frustrating for those who seek to undermine you, as they realize that their attempts to stir you up are failing. Over time, they may even stop trying, knowing that you are not someone who can be easily rattled. At the heart of Stoic calmness is the belief that peace is something you cultivate within yourself. It's not dependent on external circumstances or how others treat you. This inner peace is what gives you the ability to remain calm when others are losing control. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, whether it's in a personal relationship, at work, or even online, ask yourself, is this worth disturbing my peace? More often than not, the answer will be no. By choosing calmness, you not only protect yourself, but also set a powerful example for others. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Let this be your guide as you navigate life's challenges with calmness, knowing that your peace is your greatest strength. Topic 9. Embracing your true self despite criticism. To thine own self be true. This timeless phrase, though originating from Shakespeare, resonates deeply with the Stoic philosophy of embracing your true self, no matter what others may think or say. The world is filled with people who will criticize, judge, and try to shape you into what they believe you should be. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from within, from being unapologetically ourselves, and not letting external opinions sway us. As Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This quote captures the essence of self-acceptance, urging us to define our values, goals, and identity on our terms, rather than being molded by the judgments of others. For men between the ages of 30 and 65, this message is particularly crucial, as many find themselves navigating pressures from career, family, and society to meet certain expectations. But by embracing your true self, you gain a sense of liberation that cannot be shaken by criticism. Criticism is inevitable, and it's important to remember that everyone has an opinion. Whether it's about your career choices, the way you live your life, or even your personal values, someone will always have something to say. Stoicism helps us recognize that while we can't control what others think or say about us, we can control how we let it affect us. When you embrace who you are, despite the judgments or opinions of others, you remove their power to influence your happiness or self-worth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This speaks to the internal conflict many of us experience. We crave authenticity but often compromise it for the sake of fitting in or avoiding criticism. The Stoic approach encourages us to prioritize self-acceptance over external validation, reminding us that living authentically is the key to true freedom. In modern life, embracing your true self can be challenging, especially with the constant comparisons fueled by social media, workplace competition, and societal expectations. We are often bombarded with images and narratives of what success, happiness, or fulfillment should look like, leading many to question their own path. But the truth is, when you live according to someone else's idea of success, you are bound to feel unfulfilled. Stoicism teaches that the only way to find real contentment is by being true to your values, even if that means going against the grain. Consider this. How many times have you changed something about yourself, your behavior, or your goals to meet someone else's expectations, only to feel empty afterward? When we prioritize pleasing others over our own authenticity, we lose sight of who we are. It's in these moments that Stoicism reminds us to refocus, to ground ourselves in our personal truths, and to block out the noise of external judgments. A great modern example of embracing one's true self can be seen in the world of business and entrepreneurship. Many successful entrepreneurs have faced intense criticism for their unconventional ideas or approaches. Yet they thrived precisely because they stayed true to their vision, even when others doubted them. Take Steve Jobs, for instance. Early in his career, Jobs was criticized for his unique vision of what technology could be. Many thought his ideas were too radical or impractical. However, by staying true to himself and ignoring the naysayers, he built Apple into one of the most successful companies in the world. His story is a reminder that staying true to your values and vision can lead to incredible success, even in the face of harsh criticism. So, ask yourself, what would happen if you embrace your true self without worrying about what others might say? Criticism often stems from a place of insecurity. People who criticize you may be projecting their own fears, doubts, or limitations onto you. When you understand this, it becomes easier to let go of the weight of their words. Their criticism says more about them than it does about you. As Seneca wisely noted, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This speaks to the idea that those who are most vocal in their criticism of others often do so because they are dissatisfied with their own lives. When you embrace your true self, despite criticism, you rise above these insecurities. You show others that you are not defined by their judgments, and in doing so, you often inspire others to do the same. At the same time, embracing your true self doesn't mean being rigid or ignoring constructive feedback. Stoicism teaches us to remain open to growth and learning. Topic 10. The Stoic Art of Countering Hate with Grace. In a world where anger, hate, and conflict seem to dominate so much of our interactions, the ability to counter hate with grace is a rare and powerful skill. Stoicism offers a unique perspective on how to deal with negativity, especially when others direct hostility or resentment toward you. Instead of reacting with equal aggression, Stoicism teaches that we should respond with calm, kindness, and self-control. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This profound statement encourages us to rise above the negativity of others, showing that real strength comes from maintaining your values even in the face of hate. When you respond to hate with grace, not only do you protect your own peace of mind, but you also disarm those who seek to bring you down. Nothing frustrates someone more than seeing their attempts to provoke you fail, especially when you react with dignity and self-control. Hate is often a reflection of the other person's own inner turmoil. People lash out in anger or resentment because they are struggling with their own fears, insecurities, or frustrations. When you understand this, it becomes easier to see that their hate is not truly about you, it's about them. By responding with grace, you demonstrate that you are not going to let their emotions dictate your behavior. You remain in control, unaffected by their attempts to drag you into a negative space. Let's take a common scenario. You're at work, and a colleague is openly hostile toward you, constantly criticizing your work and trying to make you look bad in front of others. The natural reaction might be to defend yourself or even snap back. But what happens if you choose grace instead? What if you acknowledge their criticism calmly? Maybe even thank them for their feedback and continue to do your job to the best of your ability? This disarms them. They expect a fight, and when you don't give them one, their power over you vanishes. You remain focused, unshaken, and in control. The idea of countering hate with grace is not about being passive or letting others walk over you. It's about recognizing that you can't control how others act, but you can always control how you respond. Seneca wisely said, "You will be insulted, you will be criticized, you will be hated. That is the nature of people. What matters is how you take it." This mindset shift allows you to protect your peace by not engaging in battles that aren't worth fighting. In today's world, where social media amplifies every argument and disagreement, this Stoic approach is more valuable than ever. When someone attacks you online or in person, remember that engaging in the same negativity only escalates the situation. Instead, by staying calm, composed, and responding, if necessary with grace, you take control of the situation. Think of how this plays out in real life. Take, for example, someone like Fred Rogers, known for his calm and compassionate nature. Despite facing criticism and skepticism during his career, Mr. Rogers always responded with kindness and understanding. His ability to meet hostility with grace not only made him a beloved figure, but also disarmed his critics. The way he handled negativity is a perfect example of Stoic grace in action. Rather than letting the hate affect him, he continued living according to his principles, never allowing others to disrupt his inner peace. His grace was his greatest strength. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone was trying to provoke you, and instead of reacting with anger, you responded calmly? How did that change the dynamics of the situation? One of the most challenging aspects of countering hate with grace is maintaining emotional control in the heat of the moment. It's easy to get swept up in the intensity of someone else's anger and respond emotionally. However, the practice of Stoicism teaches us to pause and reflect before we react. Epictetus reminds us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is where true grace comes into play. By taking a moment to breathe and assess the situation, you allow yourself to choose a response that aligns with your values, rather than reacting impulsively out of anger or frustration. This doesn't mean you let people mistreat you. It means you address conflict from a place of strength and calmness, rather than from a place of weakness or anger. In personal relationships, this approach can be transformative. Whether it's dealing with a difficult family member, a friend who has wronged you, or even a partner in the midst of an argument, responding with grace rather than retaliation can completely shift the dynamic. When you respond to hate with calm and kindness, you set a powerful example and often diffuse the situation before it escalates. As we come to the end of today's video on 10 actions that agonize those who despise you, Stoicism, the key message we can take away is simple yet profound. True power lies in controlling how we react to external negativity. Whether it's staying calm in the face of aggression, embracing self-sufficiency, or letting your success speak louder than words, Stoicism teaches us how to rise above those who seek to undermine us. By mastering ourselves, we disarm our critics and protect our inner peace. Remember, it's not about revenge, but about cultivating grace, strength, and emotional resilience. If you found value in these insights, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Stoic in Your Life, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Continue your journey of growth and personal power with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.